I can recall in 2010, the moment I realized that there was such a thing as a CRM. Me and my first two employees were stepping on each other's toes when we were dealing with customers. I remember asking, there's got to be a solution for this. Fast forward 14 years, we have 250,000 contacts in our CRM and 150,000 businesses. It really hasn't been until the last 12 months that with the leveraging of AI that we've really had a good grasp on our customer segmentation. There's like a lot of good values there, but when it really comes to leveraging the CRM now with some AI analysis, we've done customer segmentation on these 150,000 businesses.
Welcome to the E-commerce Marketing Podcast, the highly rated digital marketing podcast that provides weekly digital marketing tips and strategies from some of the world's top digital marketers and e-commerce entrepreneurs that will help you take your digital marketing to the next level. Sit back and enjoy this power-packed episode hosted by Arlen Robinson, who is an e-commerce entrepreneur and digital marketing expert with over 20 years of experience. Hey, E-commerce Marketing Podcast listener. Are you looking to increase traffic and sales to your website? You can do this by launching your own affiliate program. Just visit getosi.com and sign up for a free trial today. That's getosi.com. Now get ready to hear from your e-commerce marketing expert of the week as they drill down to give you details on marketing strategies that can help grow your business.
Welcome back to the E-commerce Marketing Podcast, everyone. My name is Arlen, and I am your host. And today we've got a very special guest, Lucas Robinson, who's the founder and CEO of Weblife, which he started. He actually started his entrepreneurial journey in 2008, ahead of the curve in recognizing the potential of remote work and e-commerce. Under his leadership, Weblife has grown into a data-driven e-commerce powerhouse with a team of over 50 people worldwide, committed to value-based team building and principled decision-making. Lucas has guided Weblife to specialize in small to medium-sized business e-commerce, identifying trends and opportunities where others see challenges. Join us as Lucas is going to share his insights on navigating the evolving e-commerce landscape, fostering on cultural core values, and leveraging technology for sustainable growth and a competitive edge. Welcome to the podcast, Lucas.
Thanks for having me, Arlen. Excited to be here.
Yes, thank you for joining me. Today I think really going to be an interesting conversation. We're going to be talking about the power of leveraging data, CRM data specifically, and focusing on historic customer records and how you kind of can dissect and understand all of these different customer segments based on looking at all of this data, just really kind of making sense of it. How do you grow your business? How do you increase your customer lifetime value based on all of these insights that you uncover? Because that appears to be your bread and butter. And so I know that's something you're dealing with on an ongoing basis. So I'm definitely excited for you to dive into that. But before we do get into all of that, why don't you tell us a little bit more about your background and specifically how you got into what you're doing today?
Absolutely, Arlen. So, never had a traditional job. And right out of high school, I walked up to a Lowe's hardware store and asked the store manager if I could set up a hot dog, or actually it was a shaved ice cart first. Winter came around. I said, hey, can I convert this to a hot dog cart? And by the time I got out of college, we had my future wife and I had a dozen different locations between shaved ice and hot dogs that we ran in the summertime at Panama City Beach. And I took my LSAT coming out of college thinking I was going to go to law school, and a couple of professors who I look back very grateful for pulled me aside and said, Lucas, no, you've always planned on going to law school. That's what you told us. And this was just your plan. But you probably should look at this business thing because you got a little knack for it. You should probably consider doing more business the other 9 months of the year, because right now your little 3-month-a-year business seems to be doing pretty well. And so I did that. I stumbled into the world of mailboxes quite fortuitously. And at the time, every doctor and lawyer in town thought they were a developer of real estate back in 2005-06, before the housing crisis. And as a result, there was a lot of developments going on. And I say that the reason I point out the doctors and lawyers is a lot of those guys didn't know anything about developing. And so I found a real niche opportunity where I could go and meet with them and say, hey, let me help you build your development out. I'll do your mailboxes, your street signs, your marquees, and make it a beautiful neighborhood. And I really had a fascination with real estate and development and just what it is to have a plan and make something beautiful. And I found very welcoming group of clients who weren't getting hit up by anyone else offering this service. And so quickly, with my uncle at the time, who he turned me on to selling mailboxes, and he lived in Atlanta. So, but he was just doing mailboxes. And so we said, well, let's do this whole real estate or this neighborhood development concept in Atlanta and in Florida. And that came to a screeching halt in 2007, whenever the real estate, well, really 2008, really when it kind of crashed. Every project, we had dozens of projects. Every one of them stopped building homes. If you recall what it was like in 2008 during the real estate crash. And when your core customer, your only customer is a real estate developer and builder, it was not it was scary. And so, I quickly found myself realizing that my business was completely zeroed out. And I just pivoted and thought, well, I could try to sell something online. And, I remember Googling how to build a website, how to build an e-commerce store, and, tried to hack something together myself for like a week and realized, okay, I need more professional help. So I went on Upwork or Odesk at the time, and found a developer, Shubi, I think it was, a gentleman from India, who was the only developer who I could afford, who thankfully was, under $25 an hour, who helped me build out my first store on Yahoo store platform. And that was budgetmailboxes.com. And since then, we've grown Budget Mailboxes, and we've got 7 or 8 different sites. We essentially have formed a e-commerce agency in Weblife. That is kind of the structure of it. Is that we don't take on outside clients. It's privately owned portfolio of brands. Budget Mailboxes being a flagship. We've acquired multiple sites over the years. And that is still kind of our roadmap. Is we want to, our company mission is to understand how e-commerce works, and to, and what that means today is very different than what it meant 10 years ago. So, there's a little bit of my background, how I stumbled into mailboxes, stumbled into e-commerce, and, having a love for data has really helped along the way. And I think we're going to talk a little bit about data today. So we can get into that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, you definitely have a diverse background for sure. Like you said, starting off from selling shaved ice and hot dogs at Lowe's, leveraging that, growing that, which is, that alone is not easy to do. And then kind of going there and then kind of taking some of the, the business lessons that you learned, selling mailboxes, and then now to what you're doing today. So very, very impressive background for sure.
Well, quick comment just to say, for any entrepreneur out there who was considering doing like a vending style business, I would highly encourage it, because you get to see the entire business in a box, literally, like especially if you have a cart. But it's like your marketing, your customer, your voice of customer, your product costs, like you get the whole business in this little microcosm of a vending cart. And it was really interesting to learn. And at the time, happened to be taking accounting classes and stuff and marketing classes in school. It just gave me the ability to test out everything I was learning. I mean, I was keeping my own books, for example. Very helpful skill to be doing at 18 years old for your own little vending cart. So all that to say, a big fan of young folks getting out there and taking some chances. And a vending business is ideal for that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, thank you for noting that. Yeah, I can definitely see how everything is, like you said, compact into just that one box. You kind of see everything. And you have the vantage point of running something like that is you're in the middle of everything. And so you can kind of see customers, you can see, the interactions between you and the vendors that you're sourcing, your products or your food. So it's,
you could improve the product offering, adjust your menu. I mean, I know we're here to talk about e-commerce, but take one short, quick, fun story. Is that is like first week of selling hot dogs in front of Lowe's. Sales weren't enough to make it work. And I realized that if I set up a small grill that grilled peppers and onions, and I had my own little Italian season, make it smell really good, they're like, sales went up like 20, 40%. And then I realized if I set on the side of the exit door, whichever day it was, whichever way the wind was blowing, so that it would blow towards the exit door, went up another. So just like those little iterations
Yes.
it's same thing in e-commerce though. It's like you take a product and you iteratively evolve it to like, how do I increase sales another 10%? And you do that time and time again. It's, all those little, 100 golden BBs, as some well-known marketers say out there.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. All those little small tweaks. You're right. With e-commerce, you can do similar stuff because you have control. Everything in a sense is in a box. I mean, it's to a larger scale, but you can make all of those little small tweaks and then see the results. And, the data will definitely tell you. Now, kind of digging into the subject matter today, I wanted to see from your perspective and kind of what you're doing at Weblife, how would you say leveraging historic CRM data has really just changed your approach to understanding and segmenting your customer base?
Right. So I can recall in 2010, the moment I realized that there was such a thing as a CRM. And, me and my first two employees were stepping on each other's toes when we were dealing with customers. And I remember asking, like, there's got to be a solution for this. Certainly businesses have some means. And then I discovered, there's such a thing as a CRM. Well, fast forward 14 years, we have, 250,000 contacts in our CRM and 150,000 businesses. And it solved a lot of problems. And actually we invest a lot in building it out. To the question of, how we're leveraging that historic data, it really hasn't been until the last 12 months that with the leveraging of AI that we've really had a good grasp on our customer segmentation. Now, don't get me wrong, we've used extensively our CRM, automated communications with customers, and there's like a lot of good values there. But when it really comes to leveraging the CRM, that historic data, which is the question, now with some AI analysis, we've done customer segmentation on these 150,000 businesses. And we realize how many of them are builders who buy mailboxes, how many of them are property managers, how many of them are municipalities. And that's really opened up a whole new world for us, because now we can take these customer lists of past customers based upon their customer segment. And we can take those lists and we can leverage them into, outbound phone campaigns. You can make lists out of them and do retargeting campaigns on Meta, LinkedIn, Google, or Microsoft ads. You can do targeted email marketing campaigns. So, just to name a few different ways that you can leverage this. And the real value, lies in offering, tailored promote. It's not just the tailored promotion, but also understanding the customer's purchasing patterns. So, for example, businesses like builders. We may realize by looking at the pattern of builders, and we actually segment builders beyond just builders. It's regional and what size builder. But once you kind of dial in that segmentation, you say, well, these guys buy every month at this size, or maybe it's every 6 months at a smaller size. They're building a home every 2 homes a year, or they're building 12 homes a year once a month. It means they need a mailbox. Or if they're buying the community mailboxes, it's it's a different math because it's not one for one. But the point is, once you identify the pattern, now you can go back and say, this customer hasn't bought a mailbox from us in this period of time. We should call them, right? And so we start building campaigns around that. So it really has. Big fan of leveraging a CRM. Even more of a fan of what you can do with a CRM when you really have a good grasp on the data. And being a small business, AI's really helped us grasp that data.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, I've had this conversation so many times before with other people that have come on the podcast, and it kind of seems like AI, the introduction with AI, has really just been kind of right on time, because prior to AI, the whole, I guess you can say, trend, or I don't know if we want to say trend is the right word, but the whole push in technology is data. All of this data, gathering all of this data multiple ways from your customers, from everything that they're doing, their behavior on the site. All of this data was like huge. But I think the issue before kind of the introduction with AI is, all right, you have all of this data. How do you effectively sort through it and then make intelligent decisions without spending, burning more hours than it's actually worth? Because, you can have teams to kind of put together, prior to AI, there was teams that you could put together to create custom scripts to analyze things, and then you can kind of do the old school way using spreadsheets, formulas, all that type of
Mhm.
stuff. But it's like, now that AI is there, we really have the power to analyze so much data in a short amount of time, and then be able to, give us intelligent responses with regards to what we can do with it.
It really is true. And I have to comment that, surprisingly, it is very clearly done a better job of identifying our customers than our own phone reps did. And it's
Wow.
not because it's not a knock on the phone reps, but the phone reps were dealing with limited data. They were on
Yes.
a phone call. They were trying to enter it in when they're on the phone call, and they hang up that phone call and their phone rings again. If the
Mhm.
marketers are doing their job, phones are are constantly ringing, and
Mhm.
the AI is able to go and analyze multiple data points at the same time and update it. So the point is it was a better system than what we had before, and it was very flawed before, and we were trying to do it before, but it was much more expensive because it was human labor. At the same time,
Mhm.
the data quality wasn't nearly as good.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, for sure. So, good stuff. Now, when you're getting this information, you're making decisions based on all of this data and using AI, and maybe making some changes based on it. What have you seen, and what are some of the metrics or indicators that you guys usually prioritize when dissecting customer acquisition cost, and things like that to inform your marketing decisions?
Yeah. So, we're looking, once we've identified the LTV of our, say, top 20 or so customer segments, which that's what we're tracking. We're tracking 20 different customer segments. We
Right.
then decide to focus our efforts on aligning all of our marketing teams on a single customer segment and doing coordinated
Okay.
campaigns, which was a first for us. And this allowed us to, track, metrics like new customers in that customer segment, as well as monitoring their LTV, as kind of a primary metric. In fact, it really resulted in us as a company coming to the conclusion that all of our goals had to fall in one of three buckets. And that's, you're either creating new customers, you're increasing the LTV, or you're increasing the enterprise value of the company. And it
Mhm.
really wasn't until we started going down this road of customer segmentation that things became so crystallized to us that, if you're not doing one of these three things, then I'm not sure you're adding a lot of value to the business. And if you have your customer segmented, you can get very specific and track inside this customer segment. Are you getting new customers? Are you increasing the LTV? Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So, it's been a strategic shift. It's, enabled us to create more targeted and effective marketing campaigns, ultimately driving better results and more sustainable growth. For instance, by focusing on a higher LTV, for customer segments, we've been able to tailor marketing efforts, to maximize the engagement and retention, which has led to an increase, or an overall increase in revenue, as well as customer loyalty.
Okay, great. Yeah. With regards to tailoring marketing campaigns based on, what you're uncovering with this data, what have you guys seen as far as, making these tailored changes to just specific customer segments compared to just kind of a more general approach in terms of the effectiveness of your marketing efforts?
Yeah. So, tailored marketing campaigns they're significantly more effective, right?
Okay.
Than general campaigns. When you customize a campaign, you can address specific needs, and preferences of the customer segment. The content resonates more with the customer, leading to a higher engagement rate, as well as, a better ROI. In contrast, general campaigns often fail to connect, resulting in a lower engagement rate and a higher acquisition cost. Which in our business, particularly selling a commodity product, it's just, it really is all about the numbers. So, for example, if we tailored a campaign for home builders, we'll focus on their specific pain points, as well as, for example, that they're looking for boxes that, meet the USPS requirements, and, and making sure that it just meets all the codes and standards. Whereas if we're working with a homeowner association, they may have much more concerns around the aesthetics of the mailbox, and making sure that they're meeting, the compliance needs for their HOA. And so we can run promotional campaigns to each of these customer segments, selling the same product, but with very different messaging that resonates with them very differently. We have these same account managers dealing with both of them, but, in one instance, the account managers to the builders is quick, efficient, prompt, whereas with the homeowner association, it's we will hold your hand. We will take our time with you. It's just very different messaging. Right.
Yeah,
and so, that has really, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Targeted definitely is always the way to go, because you can really hone in on specific things that's going to resonate with that particular audience. Where, with the general approach, certain things, of course, are going to resonate just naturally, but there's some things are definitely, obviously, you're not gonna you get some of that cross. You're not gonna be able to leverage, kind of the cross appeal, I guess you could say, over different segments, because it's a lot of stuff is just really going to be not relevant for certain areas or certain segments, for sure.
It definitely enables you to constantly iterate, because you can get very specific, and you can try specific language out. And if you're trying to generalize, it might land with one audience, but be missing with the other, in which case you might be, one step forward, two steps back and forth. Whereas if you're really dialed on your customer segment, you can just be iterating each one of those customer segments, which is the better long-term plan.
Yeah, for sure. Now, if you were, let's say, advising a new e-commerce startup, just kind of fresh out of the gate, maybe they got a little bit of traction, some initial sales, and some initial customer leads. If you're advising them on leveraging their CRM data for what they have, what would you say should be the first step that you would recommend for them to understand their customer segments?
First, making sure that your CRM is kind of clean and organized well. And if you're unfamiliar with CRMs, I'll take a step back and say, like, a hack that I'm very fond of is, go onto one of these platforms like Upwork. It's not Upwork anymore. It is Upwork. Yeah, it used to be Odesk, now Upwork. Go to Upwork.
Yep.
And find someone who is an expert in CRM setup, right? But truly an expert, not the guy that's like, I can do it, but find you a subject matter, a SME, a subject matter expert, and have you, and this is our rule inside Weblife, is that if you've not done it multiple times successfully, Ray Dalio's definition of believability, if you're not believable, then you have a SME who is believable. And if you fail to have a SME, and you fail, then you didn't follow protocol, and that's on you. But if you have a SME, then fine. Okay, then at least we're going to have a better chance of succeeding. And so the point being is that that would be my first advice: is get you a SME, get you a subject matter expert, because you want to first make sure that that your data structure is good, that you're using the CRM natively. You're not recreating the wheel here, because that's just going to set you up for problems down the road. If you're, and I've done it. It's like if you start using things how they're not intended, and it works well till you scale it up 1,000 times larger than it starts out. And then those, customizations constantly have to be, this is ideally use it natively how it was designed. And then from there, it depends on what kind of business you are. If you're, at least, here's my take on it, is that, I'm a B2B business primarily. About 70% of our business is B2B. The other 30% is B2C. And so if you're primarily B2B, which, if you're selling mailboxes, you don't really retarget a B2C customer, because how many mailboxes do you need? Now, we can retarget them with other products, which we do, like an address plaque or whatever. But the B2B customers, we want to retarget, because they're builders. They're buying mailboxes all the time. And so, then inside of our CRM, I would say your next step is to get your customer segmentation right. We've talked a good amount about customer segmentation. If you're B2C, you might be focused more on getting your avatar set up. What is your type of customer that you're selling to? There's a whole field around avatars, and you can find your what an avatar is in your field. Inside B2B, you can have avatars, but I would say they kind of live underneath your customer segment. Meaning, inside of a builder, there may be an avatar, for Bob the builder, who's the owner. Lots of times these avatars have alliteration, Bob builder, B&B, and then you might have the secretary as an avatar, and Sally the secretary, and she's obviously it's different roles, but different avatars. So I would say, making sure that you start at that high level, having your data structured well, that you're using the CRM natively, then start segmenting your customers, Then, go a level deeper and start understanding, the avatars of your customer, if you can get that to that level of depth. And that sets you up so that you can do these marketing, tailoring your marketing as we were describing earlier.
Right. Yeah, that's a great great pieces of advice, particularly about making sure that setup is done correctly at the very beginning, because, and I've as business owners and founders of tech companies, we've all been there where we've got solutions, and, you go down a path, you kind of don't know what you're doing, and then you may not be using it, like you said, like it's intended to be used, and then certain things don't work, and then you kind of go back, clean things up, restructure things. So it is, like you said, if you're not the one that is an expert in this, go to do the freelance route, get some expert that can come in, get it set up for you right at the beginning, and then, make sure if you got that ground floor set up correctly, you'll be able to grow with it and not have to pivot if you hit a brick wall because you've implemented something the wrong way.
Yeah, Arlen, I would love to throw out a nugget of advice that I've seen work really well when it comes to finding these freelancers. Is you can post a job, and post a job, but honestly, I never post jobs. I just go online and find the best, the top 5 folks I can find, and DM them and say, I want to hire you. And I don't need to interview you. You've got 1,000 jobs and you've made $100,000 on Upwork, and everyone rates you 5-star. I want to work with you. And for one, I will go, same, even image editor, right? Whatever the task is, a CRM, subject matter expert in this instance, but just go find the top 5. And the beauty is that usually within an hour, I have someone hired, versus doing the whole job thing. And who applies for jobs? People who need work. Do the best people need work? No.
Right. That's true. That's very true. Yeah. Great advice. That's definitely, and have that experience as well. It kind of gives you the power to really just sit back, and then that these people, these top 5 that you've kind of narrowed down, they're truly the ones that are the experts in whatever you're looking to do. And so that's who you want to hone in on, rather than, like you said, putting a posting out there, having people come to you. Then you're kind of blind to what they're bringing to the table. But I mean, every now and then, of course, you're going to have some success. You may have some luck there and get the right person.
Absolutely.
It can be difficult.
Not to knock folks. I mean, my CRM developer, I probably put a job out 14 years ago when we hired him. He still works for the company today. I mean, he's one of my longest held employees, and he's the guy that's built out our CRM over the last 14 years. But it probably came from a job. So it's not to knock that folks that you hire from the job listings aren't good people, because there are amazing people. But just a hack, a shortcut, if you just want to go find someone reliable quickly, just DM them. Don't even bother with the job listing.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, Lucas, as we get ready to wrap things up, looking forward into the future, how would you see the role of CRM data evolving over the next few years in terms of creating, more personalized and efficient marketing strategies?
Well, I think it's going to be about this AI, the augmentation of your data with AI. Any task, any role that we're doing right now, it'll likely be an AI agent in the future, or at least the opportunities there. So if you think about your CRM and the data there, so let's just say we have entire dashboards of quality assurance, QA, for data discrepancies. Right now, someone has to have a rote task that repeats, once a week, once a month, they go do it. Will that be AI in the future? Probably. And then how about going through the data and looking at the reports to decide which customer segments are going to be, are growing or are concerning because they're not growing or declining. The analysis right now, that's a human role. That would be an AI role. We go down the list of all of these tasks that we do today. And I just don't think the average person, myself included, really grasp the potential here. Is this a 12-month thing? Is this a 3-year thing? I can't imagine it's outside of 3-year time horizon. It feels so imminent, like it's probably this year that businesses will start having AI agents. I mean, businesses already are, no doubt. But as far as with right now, you kind of have to set up your own agents and really jump through some hoops. But when with GPT and these other leading language models roll out a real native forum for agents to work inside of operations, that's where I think the biggest change is going to be. I think, and the unlock that's going to happen the idea that you can get 80% of the capabilities at 90 at a 90% cost reduction. I think that's going to happen across our businesses, particularly in e-commerce. And so you could probably say the same for customer service as we're saying here for CRM, but I think it's certainly applicable for CRM.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's going to be some interesting times ahead. I definitely see all of that, and like you said, it's about these agents, these AI agents, and as soon as we get to the point where they're going to be rolled out, kind of, I guess you could say off the shelf, and be able to just immediately get integrated into an organization. That's when we're going to start seeing a lot of stuff truly accelerated, probably like never before.
It's terrifying. Terrifying and exciting at the same time.
Exactly. You took the words out of my mouth for sure. Well, Lucas, this has been an awesome conversation. We definitely have an exciting future ahead of us. You've definitely enlightened us on what an e-commerce brand can do to help leverage their data with regards to CRM and analyzing these things to make the right decisions. And so I appreciate having you on. Lastly, before we do let you go, I always like to shift gears just so our audience can get to know you a little bit better. If you don't mind sharing one closing fun fact that you think our listeners and viewers would be interested to know.
Well, I love adventure. And so I'm constantly putting together hikes and mountain biking or paddleboarding. I do have a goal over the next 12 months to organize a getaway for business owners to Baja, Mexico. I've got a Navy SEAL buddy who puts together these types of things. And so looking to collaborate with him on such a trip. And we've done some similar things with, I am a member of EO Entrepreneurial organization. So through that group, we've done a few things like this. So either way, outdoor adventure is what I love. And if I could, have my dream of business and work, it would be, going to hang out with kick-ass entrepreneurs who were doing good, fun adventure with me at the same time.
Yeah, that sounds like an awesome trip. Yeah, definitely keep me posted on that. I would definitely be interested to see what you offer once you roll that out for sure. Well, Lucas, it's been awesome talking to you. Thank you for sharing that. Lastly, before we do let you go, if you can share with us and our audience the best way for them to reach you, if they'd like to reach out to you and pick your brain anymore on this subject for today.
Sure. If you look up my name, Lucas Robinson, on LinkedIn, or it's linkedin.com, I think with /in/Lucas Robinson. And you can find me on there. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. And at this point, between work, it's about the only place I carve out a little bit of time just to have some footprint socially. So that's a good place to catch up with me.
All right. Sounds good. We'll definitely have the links available in the show notes so people can reach out to you. And thanks again, Lucas, for joining us today on the E-commerce Marketing Podcast.
My pleasure, Arlen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the E-commerce Marketing Podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to rate, review, subscribe, and share it with everyone you know. Are you looking to take your digital marketing to the next level but are tired of weeding through countless YouTube videos with unproven and untrusted marketing strategies? Well, we have the answer for you. The More Sales Every Month online digital marketing course. In this information-packed course, you will learn effective keyword research, link building, content marketing, and much more to attract and convert your site visitors into paying customers. Just go to moresaleseverymonth.com and sign up today for a low one-time fee. In addition to this power-packed course, if you would like to get access to a growing repository of digital marketing articles, PDFs, and ebooks, check out getosi.com/resources and opt in to get full access to our library of priceless marketing information to help you take your digital marketing to the next level.